videos that go up. So that was good. I could put some title screens and stuff up there. So we're going to get started here. Let's see here, as soon as that goes live, and I can mute that. And a mute on that. Put that over here. Actually, we're going to do that over here. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Misfits. It is February 3rd, 2020. It is Monday morning. It is our weekend edition. I'm sorry, weekday edition. Yeah, it's been one of those weeks. How's everybody doing this morning? Hope everybody's doing well. Please go ahead and send out your 3 messages of joy, of love, of gratitude, of appreciation, of conversation. Thanks, Monique, for sharing stuff out. Thanks everybody who liked some of the stuff on Instagram. I appreciate that. Y'all are awesome. Love my Misfit family. So as we get started this morning, I got to witness something pretty special this weekend. Some baptisms that took place. One, a very dear friend of mine, some of you may know, Rhonda Bird Parker, her daughter got baptized yesterday, and it was a blessing to see that. It's been a long time. The last time I was to a baptism, I was godfather in our Catholic world, and it was to my best friend's 3rd child. Yeah, that was 30 years ago now, probably. How long ago was that? 25 years ago to a baptism. So I figure every 25 years, whether you need it or not, you should go to a baptism. But it was a blessing. It was a great experience to see that, and a great experience to see communities when they come together to welcome people into making a decision, right? So question then becomes, every day we get baptized. What are you being baptized by today? What are you accepting into your life today? And this isn't religious based, although it could be. It's what are you accepting every day into your life that is going to make it better, right? You know, in the Catholic faith, we baptize babies because we just assume they want to do what we want to do. And then as we get older, some people accept it, don't accept it, this, that, or the other. It never really makes a big difference. But when you make that decision to be baptized, when you take on that choice, when you get asked, why are you doing what you're doing? Somebody's going to say, well, that's a good reason to do it, or maybe you're not ready yet. So I'm going to ask you kind of a really crazy question. Have you been baptized into your desire, into your dreams, into your goals to want to make your life a little bit better, a little bit stronger? Do you want to have, do you show up with the moniker of saying, I believe in what I'm about to do? I guess that's the question. Do you believe in what you're about to do? So as you go ahead and send out your messages, did you send out your 3 messages this morning? If you did, type a D in the chat. Would love to see that a whole bunch of people type a D in the chat for sending out your 3 messages. If you're new to the call, if you're new to this conversation, welcome to the Misfit community. We're a group of misfits that don't quite fit in out there, but we're doing our best to make the world a little bit better, a little bit brighter. We're learning how to do more by doing less, have more by doing less. So if you're new to the call, drop an N in the chat and let us welcome you to the call, because we are a little bit crazy. I take that back. We're a lot crazy. So Victor, great to have you here. Bukumi, welcome. If I'm saying that right, I apologize. Anya, welcome to the call. Great to have you here. Y'all throw up some hearts and loves for those folks who are coming out of the call. And what I'm talking about when I'm asking people to send out their 3 messages, find some people who are in your community. You know, some people who are special to you, some people that make you smile. And maybe you haven't sent them a message before. Maybe you just haven't said thank you to them in a while. So what I ask everybody to do is when they get on the call in the morning is to send out 3 messages, 3 simple messages. Say, hey, listen, I was thinking of you. Hey, listen, you inspire me. You know what? You're this amazing soul. I don't know if I've thanked you lately. Just something like that. Because what comes back is sometimes quite, well, I should say it's not quite amazing. It's usually very amazing, the responses that people get. So, with that being said, today's conversation we're going to have about real quick. I usually go through some presentation. I go through some slides, kind of give you some education, give you some things to track down, to get you to think a little bit different, have a little bit some different thoughts. And in the conversation I have with you, it's designed to make you. Dr. Wayne Dyer said a long time ago to me, he said, change the way you look at things, and the things you look at change. And that's all I'm doing here today is, listen, words don't teach. I'm not qualified to be your teacher. I'm qualified to tell you my story, to give you some of my examples, to give you some of my experiences, but I'm not really qualified to teach. By all stretches of the imagination, by looking at a scorecard or a documentation, I barely made it through high school. I've stood on stage around the world in 30 countries, but I don't know how many of you want to do that. I've presented in front of over easily a few 100,000 people I've presented to. So I don't know if you want to be a public speaker. See, I can teach you that. And what I'm going to teach you this morning is about how to just be how to be better to ourselves. Now, it's going to surprise you. It's going to surprise you. The sermon I heard yesterday, I absolutely fell in love with the sermon I heard yesterday. And I will get to that. This is going to be part of it. But the conversation I want to have to you today is this. Let me pop up this screen here real quick. Share screen. Here we go. So, with that being said, Rhonda, can you give me a nod? Can you see that screen? Awesome. Yeah. Here we go. So, teaching or legacy? Think about your presentation. What is the essence behind your presentation? What is the desire behind your presentation? Is it to teach? Then I'd encourage you to go get a degree in teaching. Or is it to have a conversation about a legacy? Yours and theirs. See, does your presentation, it amazes me that we've come to the agreement that go for no's. How many of you, and type in the chat, how many of you have heard go for no's? Go for the no. You should go for the no. Go get 100 no's. Well, how sexy is it to do a business that you're going to wind up going for the no? I mean, who really wants to go for a no? So I say that to say, what is the goal when you present? When you go to present your goal, what is the desire behind it? You have to do something. You want to get something done. You're going to sit down and have a conversation with somebody. What is it designed to do? Is your present? Now here's a tough one. Y'all ready for this? Is your presentation set up to get a no? Is your marketing department that created your presentation, the company that created your presentation, the upline that created your presentation, is it designed to create a no? Have you ever asked that? If it's not designed to create a no, why do we get so many no's? What is your desire when you present? Do you know the difference between the two? Do you know the difference between a goal and a desire? Maybe your desire is coming across stronger than your goal. Maybe your goal is coming across stronger than your desire. Maybe your goal and your desire are not linked and synced in time and space, and therefore there's this ambiguity when the prospect is hearing your presentation and they don't know what to do. And what does a confused mind do? Somebody type in the chat. A confused mind does what? What does a confused mind do? Yeah, nothing. What does your prospect do? What does your prospect do after your presentation? You know, I love you. Listen carefully. I'm going to give you some clues how to get out of this situation. So if your prospects are doing nothing, they're not getting started, you're getting one of the three the 3 counterfeit yeses. You're getting a confirmation yes. Send me the website. I'll be happy to take a look. Yeah, absolutely. Follow up with me next week. Or yes, and they really meant no. Yeah, I'll be to the meeting. Yeah, I'll come to the event. Yeah, I'll watch the video, and they never do. Counterfeit yes. Counterfeit yes, confirmation yes, or the real mean yes. They said yes just to make you feel good, to be mean. Never with never an intention, but you get so excited. You give them the benefit of the doubt, and you hear their yes, and you go, they're coming to the event, and they never show up. A goal is what you want to accomplish. A desire is the intense feeling of wanting something to happen. Now, your goal is to get them to sign up, and your desire is to get them to sign up. Why do they say no, and why do they never follow back up with you? Because maybe your goals and your desires didn't come across clearly. Maybe you were teaching. Who needs to be taught that their life is pretty crappy? Who needs to be reminded that they're not doing well? Who needs to be reminded that you're doing better than they are? Who needs to be reminded that they're not qualified to own a business? Who needs to be reminded that they're not making enough income right now? They don't have enough free time right now. Who needs to be reminded they're not healthy enough right now? They're not skinny enough right now? Who needs to be reminded they're failing? Does your presentation do that? It's not designed to do that. It's really not designed to do that. I don't believe that was the intent behind it. I know when I was on the corporate side of a $200 million network marketing company, that was not the desire when we created our business opportunity presentations, is to say, let's build something so everyone says no. That wasn't the desire. What is your normal result? Do you get more yeses or do you get more nos? Could be that, right? Hippocrates said that he realized that when somebody has disease in their body, when their body is not in a good shape, he learned there's 4 styles, there's 4 kinds of people, and he needed to treat the disease differently in each person. Right? If I wanted to move somebody like a Rhonda Bird Parker, all I gotta do, that's easy. You just gotta, all you do is gotta talk about some action taking stuff, right? Talk about some sports stuff. Talk about getting her some, oh my gosh, let's go. We're in the 4th quarter right now. We're in the 4th quarter. We got 2 minutes. We got like 2 minutes left. Who do I give the ball to? Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. Right? Y'all get that? If you understand, if somebody's an educator, we need to go out, and there's some things we have to educate people on. If we educated people on these particular things, if we got them to understand that I can do that, I can teach, I can train, we need to go out, and there's some people we really need to help. There's kids that are starving right now. We need to create a foundation. We need to create a foundation that's going to raise money to allow children in the United States to be able to read again, and allow children, not one child in the United States, to go hungry again. Oh, you get a server mindset, man, get out of the way. Get out of the way. They got buttons made before you leave that conversation. They got pins made. They got websites reserved. They got colors already identified for that ribbon that's going to go on somebody's shirt. And then there's the numbers. Then there's the logical step, the next logical step that needs to be taken. How do you learn those 4 things? Well, you can do it over time, or there's other ways you can do that too. But let's go through the rest of this real quick. So, let's see here. I got too many screens. I gotta get all the way over to here. Nope, one more screen over. There we go. Does your result match your goal? Does your result feed your desire? How hard is it to have this desire to want to go help people and you constantly get no's? You know why we sit down, we shut up, we don't talk anymore, we stop prospecting? You know why it's so easy to go into management mode? Because we don't like no's. Addiction to approval. This all comes back. It all sinkles up together. What is a sinkle? Don't sinkle. I think you can go to jail if you sinkle publicly. It all syncs up together in time and space. Here you go. Here you go. You ready? You ready for this one? Smack. You haven't learned how to politely offend people. You have to get comfortable with offending people. Why do you think I asked the 3 questions? Permission to help, permission to make you feel uncomfortable. Why would I ask you? Why would I ask you before we ever get started? Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Because I'm going to offend something about you. I'm going to offend your current position. Listen carefully. Listen carefully. How many of you right now want to stay where you're at, income-wise, time freedom-wise, family-wise, health-wise? How many of you want to stay right where you're at? If you want to stay right where you're at, no change, no advancement, you're cool right where you're at, type a S in the chat. If you want to advance, if you want to move forward, if you want to change, if you want to have more of what you want and less of what you don't, type an A in the chat. So if I'm going to help you, listen carefully. If I'm going to help you do something you've never done before, you're going to have to do something you've never done before. And if you're going to want something you've never had before, you're going to have to feel a way you've never felt before. I'm going to offend your current status of life. Now, some of you just come off offensive. That's why I asked the permission. Do I have your permission to offend you? But see, I say, do I have the permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable? There's a big difference. Every one of you wants to bring value. Every one of you wants to bring tremendous success. Every one of you wants to help somebody have more of what they want and less of what they don't. You're going to make them feel uncomfortable. The question is can that level of uncomfortability be designed in such a way that it moves them, motivates them, and inspires them to take an action, to take a step with you, not away from you. Maybe you're being too mean when you present, when you should just be offending. What? Maybe you're being too mean. You tell them how great you are, or how good your upline is, or how great everybody else is doing? Or do you show them examples of what's possible for them? See, when I teach, at the end of every class, at the end of every pop test or every exam, I got a grade. And the good news is they graded it with not just pass or fail. They gave you anywhere from an A to a F. I was a D student. If the teacher liked me, I was a C- student. What are your prospects? What grade do your prospects give you? You get a pass or fail grade. And if you don't get rejected, you fail. How many of you sit down to get rejected by a prospect? I don't think anybody sits down going, listen, I want to fail at this one. This one, my winning will be failure. That doesn't happen. At least I don't think it happens. I would suggest it to not happen. If your goal is to sit down and have a conversation with somebody, wouldn't it make sense to have a conversation that moves them in the direction they want to, and you don't drag them in the direction you're going? You're going to get on the highway today. You're going to get on the highway today, and there's going to be other people that get on the highway with you. Do they all stay on the highway the same amount of time you do? No, people get off at different places. People go on farther than you. Prospecting is the same way. The question is can you stay in long enough? Can you listen hard enough for the ways that you can help guide them on their path? Is this making sense? Y'all understanding this? Okay. Are you teaching them how to fail? When they say no to you, what did you just remind them of? If they say no to you, what are they really saying no to? Now, I know we understand this, but what are they really saying no to? Are they saying no to you, or are they saying no to themselves? And if they're saying no to themselves, what did you just remind them how to do? You reminded them they're a failure. Now, that's not your intent. I get that. Please understand. I'm not saying anyone on this call or anyone watching this recording ever sits down with the intent to cause somebody to fail. I get that. But let's get real. Let's look at this for what it is and what it's doing. Maybe it's just time to think about how do we make things different? How do we say things different? Somebody dropped a penny or a dime. I wasn't sure. Let's see. Wait a second. Are you sharing how you found your personal path to live your legacy? This is understanding your story. Are you presenting to them so that they fail? Or are you presenting to them so that they can realize that you found your path to live your legacy and they're raising their hand going, I want that? Why do you think companies that do before and after pictures, explode their business? Because people say, I want the after picture. I want the after picture. I'm the before picture. I'm worse than the before picture. I want the after picture. And people want the after picture. They go, how did you get that? You're getting that? That's what I want. So what's your before and after picture in your business model? Before I got started, I didn't understand how to leverage currencies. Before I got started, I didn't understand there's a way to live a healthier life. Before I got started, I didn't realize that I could put on some makeup that would give me self-confidence. Before I started, I didn't realize there were nutritionals that I needed to heal my body from the inside out. And now this is what's happening. Every one of you have a before and after. The fact that you don't have, let me do this real quick. Stop sharing because I can't find all the prospects. So mute there. Let me just go through and mute some folks. Okay. I think I got everybody. So that being said, the challenge is that all too often we don't go through this process of wanting to tell somebody our before and after pictures. Every business has a before and after picture. Every business model has a before and after picture. You go buy a computer. Before you didn't have one, now you have one. What was the pain before? What was the solution by using this system, this tool, this technology, this business model to fix an after, to get to an after solution? Everybody's got a before and after. Definition of offending: causing a person to feel hurt, angry, or upset by something said or done, to be unpleasant to someone or something, to be against what people believe is acceptable or proper. Y'all listen to this for just a second. Is anyone's dreams unacceptable? Provided they're morally and ethically, right, good. You're going to have a conversation with them. And because of their addiction to approval, they get easily offended by you saying that they can win. I need you to hear this. I don't need you to hear this. I want you to hear this. You say that they can win. You tell a woman that they can have their own, they can be their own boss. You tell somebody who has been mentally beat up and sat down and said they're not good enough, they're not tall enough, they're not short enough, they're not sexy enough, they're not white enough, they're not black enough, they're not less accent enough, they got too much of an accent, they got hairs too curly, hairs too straight. And you come along and tell them, you're just perfect. You're just perfect. You're the right one. You're the good soil. I'm going to sow seeds into you, and you're the good soil. You're not the rocky soil. And the birds aren't going to get you. The birds aren't going to get you. You're the right one. You're the perfect one. You're the best one. And all of a sudden you tell them that, and they become offended. And it's not offended. It's not offended because of you. It's offended because they would offend all of the people they're addicted to their approval. Is it possible that their dreams are unacceptable? Absolutely not. Their dreams are totally acceptable. Who is the accomplishment of their dreams? Who's saying the accomplishment of their dreams are unacceptable? You guys have heard me say this a few times. if you reach your dreams, who's going to be the people that are most jealous of you? What? Nobody's going to be jealous of me. Oh, really? Yeah, how's that working out for you? Is it possible that their goals are not possible? Are they setting an impossible goal? Like, I'm going to jump to the moon. Well, that may be, you might, that could be impossible. Maybe not. I'm sure if you figured it out long enough, but in this lifetime, I don't know that we could figure out how to jump to the moon without a rocket. But jumping to the moon, that's not hard. Getting a rocket. We're doing it right now. We're going to bring people, but we're going to put people back on the moon. At least publicly. Who knows whether they've been there already or not. But is it possible that their goals are not possible? No, it's not. And they're not asking for ridiculous things. I'd like a little more time freedom and money freedom. Why would they be crucified for wanting more time and more money, more time freedom? Why? Because that's their goals. That's the goals that somebody else has for them. Does that make sense? So, could it be that that your presentation is giving them the impression that their dreams are not acceptable? Maybe your presentation isn't about their dreams, it's about everybody else around you. It's about money. Maybe money's not the thing that drives them. Maybe getting their kid the thing that's important to them in the next 7 days. Right, Brandon, who we met in Biloxi, Isabella and Olivia. I bet if I called Brandon today and said, hey, Brandon, remember me? We were having a conversation. You, Rhonda, Patricia, and I were having a conversation with you in the lobby. You were kind enough to bring the bags down. And I said, what's important to you? Isabella and Olivia, how they doing? How many people who do you think left that resort, that facility 3 weeks ago? I think it's 3 weeks ago. Remember Isabella and Olivia. How many people do you think maybe prospected him into a business model, thinking and talking about him? The people that were with me remember him. But there was a lot of network marketers there. I'm sure he got hit up. Hey, how's Isabella? Brandon, how's Isabella? This ain't about you making money. This is about everybody helping their Isabella, everybody helping their Olivia. Do you call and ask your team, how's it going for so-and-so and such, the people that are important for them, the people they're doing the business for? Or do you say, hey, listen, you're 4 away from rank. You're 3 away from your next rank. What are you teaching them to say about your presentation? You know why everybody's got a real crappy opinion about network marketing? Because we taught them to say that. Ooh, snap. Well, listen, I'm guilty of that. Do you have enough time freedom? Is what you're doing right now going to get you everything that you want? Then maybe you should take a look at what I'm doing. You're right. You're so smart, Sean. You're so smart. You're an entrepreneur. Maybe I should follow you. I'll give you $1,000 for every time somebody said that to me. Not a chance. What are they saying to your presentation? The end result, end game, scoreboard check. What are they saying to your presentation? Yes, I'm in, or no, I'm not. And if they're saying no, I'm not, insanity is the definition of doing the same thing over and 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 over again, expecting different results. Who's the idiot? Tough stuff, I know, but you're leaders. You're leaders. You're not here. Listen, we're not here to do paint coloring. We're not here to do color by numbers. This is called the daily awakening. Some of you are getting this now. You're getting it early. And you're going to go, well, that's not what my mentor's teaching me. That's not what my teacher's teaching. That's not what my upline's teaching you. Okay, then listen to them. This is just information. I can't teach you anything. Take what works, take what doesn't work, throw it out, take what works, use it. You're not on my team, but you're in my business. Let me be very clear. You're not on my team. You're in my business. And the business that we're in is building people. And if I can help you build people up, it doesn't matter what business you're in. You're in the business of building people up. It doesn't matter what company you're in. You can always build people up. You can go to your church and build people up. You can go to your ball game and build people up. You can go to the library and build people up. Listen, everybody's saying, well, I'm only part-time in the business. You ain't part-time in nothing. You're full-time in everything. It's what you decide to devote your time to. But you're full-time. This is your full-time life living. You just got to decide when you want more of what you want and less of what you don't. If you're not hitting your goals, are you at least reaching your desire? What is your desire in your business? See, when people choose not to join me in business, if I've spent time with them, I've helped them create a better life for themselves. So they never say no to me. They may not decide to be on my team, but it's rare that anybody says, no, I don't want a better life. I helped a couple of young guys, 2 brothers, for 8 years. They've now helped me build an organization of over 30,000 people. How long should you build a relationship for? I'm just sharing with you. Is it easy to do? Yeah. Can you stay in long enough? Do you have the tenacity, the sagacity? I remember hearing that word once. I had to look it up. I'm still not sure what it means. Do you know your story? Does your story inspire? Can they use your story until they get their story? And maybe you got to use somebody else's story. Maybe that's you. Do you use somebody else's story? Whose story are you using right now to enhance the conversation you have? I use Rhonda's story all the time. I use Leslie's story all the time. Leslie Easbert's story all the time. I use Angel's story all the time. I use Ryan's story all the time. Most people ask me, wow, you have all these people that you use their stories. What's your story? Telling stories. Because if I'm using somebody else's story all the time, guess what they can use? Somebody else's story all the time. Are you setting up your presentation to create duplication? Or are you being so smart? Are you being the smart one in the conversation that people are like, oh my God, you're brilliant. I can't do what you do. I can't do what you do. You know what the thing is that people point out to me that they can't do what I do? They can't wear the shoes I wear. They can't wear the shirts I wear. The rest of it they could do. I could never wear a shirt like that. I'd love to wear a shirt like that, but I could never wear a shirt like that. Those shoes are crazy. I could never wear shoes like your shoes. Okay, other than that, could you do what I do? Oh, I could easily do what you do. You're an idiot. You're a farm boy from Ohio. Heck, I could do that. How many stories do you tell in your presentation? What's the before and after that excites them? Have you created the before and after in your business presentation? Oh, but we don't sell potions, lotions, or magic pills or anything like that. No, you're right, but you do sell a before and after. I see some hands raised, and we'll get to them in just a second. What is the before and after picture in your business model? And if you don't think you have one, my mentor would say, you're right, I'm rich, let's move on. Are you pointing out their before, or are you painting their after? Are you pointing out their before picture all the time during your presentation, or are you painting the after picture of possibility for them? See, the after picture is what can offend them, and not offend them. When they reach it, they're going to get offended because they're going to say, who do you think you are? They're going to be jealous of your increased acumen in understanding Forex trading, understanding international currency, using nomenclature that makes you sound smart, pips and blips and this, that, and the other. What the heck is a pip and a blip and a trace and this and that and trending? If you're using any of that in your conversations to a prospect that is not well versed in your nomenclature, it's easy for them to say, yeah, that sounds good. I could learn that. And then they spend all their time learning, not doing. We're human beings, not human doings. We're human beings. Let's see here. I think we're getting close to the next presentation. Yeah, that's the end of these slides. So the question then becomes, are you ready to take your business to the next level, figure out your before and after, figure out a conversation that allows people to see that your before was similar to their before. Stop sharing here. And we go from there. So understand that, look at your presentation. Are you teaching, or are you designing a legacy that you want to leave behind? Your words make all of that possible. So with that, let's dive into some questions. Hey, Julie, good morning. Loved your before and after picture.
Yes. Good morning, Sean. Whew, give me a second. I have to breathe. So, Sean, usually, after a presentation, well, the first thing is that I have trouble ending it. So I'm usually the closer. I'm always the one that closes the presentation after an event. And how will you go about that? And then the next question is, how would you, like, after the presentation's over, what questions do you ask?
So if you're the closer, your responsibility is to move them into action.
Yes.
And who wants to be told what to do?
No one.
So that's a tough spot to be in. So what if you were the opener?
Like starting the presentation, you mean, Sean?
Nope. What if the end was isn't the end the opening?
How will you go about that?
But let me ask, I need you to wrap your arms around this. Isn't the end the opening?
Yes, yeah, it is. Of a new life.
So the end is the opening. So then what is your job to do? Hold open the door.
Ah. All right, so I'm pretending right now that I'm understanding, but I don't understand.
Okay. Thank you for being truthful. So imagine if where the slides went up on the wall, right? They just saw the whole presentation. Your job is not to repeat the presentation, because now you're teaching again. And if you start to teach again, you should have done the presentation. Your job is to open the door and let them walk through. So if your job is to open the door and let them walk through, so suppose with the wall or the screen with the presentation turned into a door, what are you supposed to do? You go hold open the door. And then what do you ask?
Usually what I ask is like, are you ready to get started?
Well, do you want to go through the door?
No. Oh,
I mean, that's really what you're doing. When you ask, do you want to get started? Aren't you asking them who wants to go through the door?
Yeah.
And they're in a public forum. Who's going to admit that they want something they never had before?
No one.
So exactly. So then whose responsibility is it really to close them?
Themselves.
Yeah. So why don't you give them a chance to do that? What if this was possible? Your responsibility is to know exactly who the guests are in the audience.
Mm-hmm.
Do you look the guests in the eye when you're doing your ending?
Yes, always.
Okay. So do you ask them questions?
No.
That they don't have to publicly answer?
No, I don't.
So are you watching them during the whole presentation to see when they nod their head?
No.
So then why are you closing?
I see what you're saying. Now I'm understanding, Sean. It took me some time.
Right, I get it. But my point is that if your responsibility is to bring them to the next level, wouldn't it be neat to know if you know what excites them about the next level?
Gotcha, Sean. I think that for me, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I think that what I noticed, right, is that everybody basically with presentations, not everybody, but some people and the people that I've learned from, they they put down like colleges and jobs, and like, usually that's what I always like end it with, like, a job is paying you 50K a year, et cetera, and then I feel like I'm attacking them.
Well, yeah, because how many people have a job in the room that's at 50K a year?
Yeah, many.
Yeah, how many of them, if they lost it yesterday, would be in a world of shit?
All of them.
So then why would you attack what they're currently doing and surviving on?
So then how will you go about like offending? Because you said like don't offend them.
You know what? A lot of times we get into a system, and some of us are lucky enough to be able to have a job. Some of us are lucky to have a good job. But some of us are smart enough to know that sometimes good things end. How many of us would ever say sometimes good things end?
Sheesh.
And when good things end, the challenge is that it takes a long time to find a replacement. Most of us don't want to have to work a part-time job. We've got to report. We don't have the flexibility. We know we need it. How many of us feel they're underemployed? How many of us feel they're underpaid? Well, my question then is, what could you do about that? Tonight you heard an opportunity. Tonight you heard something that said, maybe, just maybe, if I took some time, if I took some energy, if I could be trained. How many of you feel if you could be trained on something to do part-time that could create a legacy for you, you'd want to invest your time and energy to do that?
Wow. I would. Can I sign up? Thank you so much, Sean. That was awesome.
Does that help?
Yes, it really does, honestly. Thank you.
Because all you want them to do is say, all too often we're having conversations at the end of a presentation that's an and or. That's a this or that. I want it to be an and. Till they decide the one thing. Hey, hello. Cool is that? We got Michael on line 17. Go ahead, Michael.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? How's everyone doing today?
Outstanding, Michael.
All right, I'm not gonna lie, I actually am sending a shout out into the universe and seeing if someone can help me out, because I actually, for our whole company, we're going to London, and I was so excited because I had the plane ticket and the VIP ticket ready, and I had an Airbnb, but our Airbnb went down, and I was just asking the Misfit community if anyone has a place for me to stay with them. I would love to stay with somebody, and I can promise you I would not be a bad time. So Sean, if anyone,
where are you going?
We're going to London. We're going to London soon, and if anyone just knows of a place I could stay, I would love to stay with them.
Well, somebody hit up Michael if you got some ideas for him.
Yo, Michael, go ahead. Julie, go ahead.
So my team, we're having Airbnb. So just reach out to me on Instagram, Michael, and I'll host everything up. Okay.
Really? All right. So that would literally be a blessing. I'm going from Sunday to Sunday, and I promise it would be the best time ever.
You all hook up.
I'm Julie Divine. So just Julie Divine _ just follow me. Okay. And then reach out to me.
All right.
Yeah, Mike.
Thank you so much.
I might have a extra bed or extra couch for you to crash on, but I don't get there till Thursday, bro. So.
All right, that's fine.
I'm going to Paris first, so I get to London on Thursday.
All right, perfect. All right, so Julie, I'll hit you up. Are you going on Sunday?
Y'all figure that out on another call.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, let's go. Oh God.
That's the power of community. Listen, folks, the neat thing about this call is that there's about 9 companies that are on this call. And I'm glad that we can all share each other and help each other out like that. That's what this is supposed to do. Hey, Brittnee, go ahead, Brittnee. We got you on line 1, girl.
I don't know. You guys heard me blowing my nasty nose. I didn't know my mic was unmuted. Coincidental. So I was asking, how do we respond to someone that isn't valuing what it is that we provide to them because they don't want to give up their old story? How do we like?
First of all, the fact that somebody's in valuing what you do is because you let it. Tough statement. But my question is that how did you set up the stage to let that you let that happen? So how did you set the stage that that's possible? So the question then becomes is that they don't want your help. That's why I asked the very first question that I asked, the 3 questions I asked. Do I have your permission to help? And if at some point they're proving that they don't want my help, the conversation's over. Nobody's going to invalue me. Nobody's going to make me feel worse than I make myself feel.
Yeah, so that's what it was. It was like, okay, so, I was like, okay, I provide value with all these things, and then I just took them all away because I was like, no more, and should I feel bad about that?
Oh, listen, there's going to be people that are going to test you, and in their testing, right? Listen, every conversation is a sales pitch. You just bought their sales pitch that you're not valuable. Okay, I'd be buying different stuff. Nobody can offend you without your permission. And so if you're feeling bad about it, it's because you gave them permission that they don't see what you see and they think what you're doing is not good. Why would you even buy that?
Well, it's like I didn't feel bad, and I thought maybe it was wrong because I didn't feel bad.
No, that's an old story.
Okay.
Now, there's a part of the woman's brain that wants to make sure everybody's healthy, happy, and okay. But there's a point to where you got to say enough is enough. So
yeah,
there you go. Oh, look, beautiful picture, Brittnee. Yes, it is a beautiful picture, Brittnee.
This is my after.
When we did our Friday night call, I kind of gave her a what's talking to. How do you raise your hand? There's somewhere on the screen there. I think somewhere you can click raise your hand. Let's see here. Let's go to LaToya. We got you.
Good morning, everyone. I just want to say I am so grateful for you all. I cut in and out during this call, so I really don't have any questions right now, but I just want to extend gratitude and love to each and every one of you on here. Y'all are so amazing.
Excellent. We appreciate you, LaToya. Safe driving. Love all that you do. Have an amazing day.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Thank you, girl. HG, go ahead with your question.
Awesome. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you so much for those gems you dropped this morning because they definitely helped me in my presentation. I do have a question, though.
Okay.
In reference to you saying you have to be comfortable with offending people. I have a close friend, a friend of like maybe almost 10 years, and we were having a conversation about some things that were suggested to me for advertising on social media, the network. And he basically, kind of commented on it and said, I don't think you should be as aggressive. But it was kind of going against what my mentor recommended as far as duplication. And I know how I can be when I let things get through my ear to my mind, I start second guessing myself. So, I made a statement that someone else recommended I make. Well, not really necessarily make. I kind of proactively made it, but the statement was, if you don't really have the result that I am pressing to achieve, I appreciate the advice, but I can't really listen to you. And I guess he kind of felt like I was being disrespectful. And since then, I haven't heard from him. So I kind of just want to ask, do you think that was disrespectful on my part to make that statement? Yeah, that's really my question.
So this is the scary question, HG. How long y'all been friends?
Almost pushing 10 years.
So do you think that statement could affect a 10-year relationship?
Do I think it should? No. Do I think it can? Yes.
Do I think it could? So if it could, then how deep was the relationship?
That's definitely like a brother to me.
Okay, so then just suck it up and go, hey, listen, I haven't heard from you. Are you pissed off at me? What are you sitting in the corner for? If one of you is going to have to man up and have a conversation.
Yeah. I mean, but I did. I called, haven't heard. I text, haven't heard. But
then you got to question their friendship. How could I? If I was your friend for 10 years and I pissed you off on a statement, dude, you're an idiot. I know I'm an idiot, but you haven't done anything. Well, screw you. I'll talk to you later. I'll see you for lunch.
Definitely. Well, another question I have is what would have been your response to, in that situation?
Hey, listen, I got to try something. I love your results. I want to get better results. Your results aren't bad. Mine. I want to see if I can get different results. So if I can get different results, would that be okay? Would you support me if I wanted to get different results?
Definitely. I like that.
Again, are you teaching to make somebody feel bad, or are you teaching to have them join you in business? And they don't listen. I have people who love me in my business, support me in my business. They will never join my organization. They will never join my organization. They just can't see us doing that thing. And I'm not here to teach them how that thing is a pretty damn good thing.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Well, I definitely appreciate the help. And once again, thank you for all of the gems that you've dropped this morning.
You're welcome, HG. Appreciate you. Hey, Noah. Good morning, Noah. Can't hear you, Noah. You may have to do your headset thing that you do. I see you're unmuted.
Morning, everybody.
You're breaking up, dude. We needed some Noah, and you're breaking up.
Can you guys hear me?
Yes, now we hear you.
Hold on. Okay, perfect. I had to hop out. So something I've been asking myself over the last week or so is can you use parts of your old story to create and enhance a new one?
That's the only thing you could use for comparison.
Okay. So comparing the old with the new and deciding whether it's beneficial to you or not is what you're saying?
Well, so here's the thing. If we're gonna have a race,
yeah,
we're gonna start right now. We're gonna have a race to an unknown destination. What are you gonna look for? You have to look. You can only look for two things. And those two things, once you recognize what those two things are, will adjust your path with every step.
Okay.
Here's the two things. If you're going for something you don't know, what would you be looking for? Things you don't recognize. How do you know they're things you don't recognize? Because your old story, you recognize.
Mm-hmm.
So if you take a step and you go down a path and you go, I remember this, what do you have to do?
Turn the other way.
Exactly. So you're always going to need your old story.
Okay.
And if you take a step down the new path of the unknown, what does the unknown instantly become?
The known.
So therefore, you don't ever want to go backwards, do you?
Never.
So today you start a new path and you take a step forward. The unknown just became known, and you have to decide, was that a good direction or not?
Mm-hmm.
You just have to decide how long, if leaving the old story is okay.
Okay.
Nothing fails like success. And so every step you take into the unknown was a new step into the success, but that'll fail if you stay there. So you are constantly in battle, old story, new story, old story, new story, old story, unknown story, unknown story, unknown story. Why do you think it's so damn scary to do what we do? Because we're constantly stepping into the unknown.
You're right. That's right.
I love Noah.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you, everybody, for sharing this morning.
Awesome. Well, there you go, folks. What'd you learn? What'd you like? What'd you pick up from this morning? If you don't have a question, but what'd you learn? What'd you like? what stood out to you? And if you want to type that, you can. If you want to share talking, raise your hand and I'll pick you. And Gisela, did I see you just unmute?
Yeah, yes, I'll mute myself. Good morning, Sean. Good morning, my beautiful community of misfits. Actually, this morning I wake up with the intent to breaking up on pieces my presentation based on the conversations we had all last week about the stories. So today, this just topic is so on point because it just gives me the the ideas of how I need to go about when giving the presentation, because we become often so technical on our presentation, on the product, on the compensation plan. But it's simple, we can make it simple instead of being a teacher. And your phrase, if you want to be a teacher, go get a teaching degree, really spoke to my heart, because how many times I become a teacher and really I just need to be, inspire them, help people see themselves doing what we do in a way that is simple and makes sense to them. So thank you for bringing this topic, and I'm looking forward for the next one, the 9 questions to act when you to get to a yes. I wrote down that was your last. So I'm looking forward for that future topic. So thank you again for bringing so much value, Sean, on a daily basis to us, sharing your experience, your knowledge, and this was a great topic as always.
Well, I appreciate it, Gisela. Thank you. So just to give you guys an idea, now, listen, I promise you, your upline, your team, your support, they would never go for this.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do when I sit down, let me ask you, everybody that's here that's already part of the community, if you've received, this is what I do in a live presentation. If you've received value from being a part of this community, raise your hand. What do you think every person does in the community? They raise their hand.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, those of you that are guests today, let me ask you a question. Do you want what they have? Do you want to be someplace in some part of a community, some part of a team, some part of a business that you get tremendous value from every single day? Well, yes. Then I'm glad you're here for the next 30 minutes. We're going to see if we can't provide that to you. Would that be okay?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys, all right, let me sit down. I'm going to be the presenter. Let me introduce our presenter tonight. They're going to know 100% of the facts, and they're going to tell you all about Forex. They're going to tell you about weight loss. They're going to tell you about health and wellness. They're going to tell you about skincare, and they're going to be absolutely the best. They've reached the highest ranks in our company. Let's bring them to the stage. What the hell am I at?
Mm-hmm.
Make it easier for people to say yes. Don't make it so easy for them to say no. Awesome. Stanley, go ahead. We've got you on line 2. Stanley on line 2.
Good morning, Sean. How you doing?
Outstanding, Stanley.
So I really liked what you said about not being a closer but being an opener at the end. Yep. So I feel like I'm really good so far at presenting the opportunity. Right now, I'm in I Am Master Academy. I do Forex. I feel like I'm really good at presenting the opportunity and explaining it to people. I definitely do have to work on asking more questions at the end, but I hit up a lot of people. I talk to a lot of people, and I feel like a lot of them, they say, oh, that they need money first. So when they have their money right, they're gonna join. So I just wanted to ask you, what's the best way, I guess, to reach out to those people to see if they do have the money now to start? Because I don't obviously want to sound like I just want their money, I just want their spot, because it's not like that. I actually do want them to join the opportunity to elevate like I have. So I so far I've asked like, oh, how are you doing? How's everything been? But what's your best opinion on that?
Stanley, let me ask you a question. Do I have your permission to help?
Of course.
Do I have your permission to make you feel a little bit uncomfortable?
Yes.
Permission to take you out of that uncomfortable feeling?
Of course.
Hey, Stanley, if you were to come across a program, if you were to come across a system, a proven system that could help you reach your goals in the next 60 days, what would you be willing to invest in that?
I would be willing to invest my all into it if I knew if it was the way out.
Okay, so how much is all?
Everything that I can put in.
Okay, what would be a number?
As in money or as in...
Yeah, and money, because it's going to cost. I mean, time. You'll figure out the time, because if you put enough money in, you'll spend the time. So let's start with the thing that drives people most first. If Sean, was going to give you a training program, if you were going to invest in a training program with me, and I could show you in the next 60 days how to create a 6-figure income for the rest of your life, part time, what would you be willing to spend on that?
Truthfully, like, obviously my financial situation isn't like that, but I would be willing to invest a couple thousand, I guess, if it's guaranteed to make me 6 figures in the next 6 years.
Do you believe you're entitled to 6-figure income?
Of course.
Do you believe you have the capacity for a 6-figure income?
Of course.
You believe you have the capability for a 6-figure income?
Of course.
Why don't you have it yet? Because you haven't been trained correctly. If I provided you that training and you still did all the work, would you be okay with that?
Yes.
Cool. When would you want to start?
Right away.
Okay. So when you come up with that money, we'll get started. See what we just did there?
I'm a little confused, but I kind of see it.
I asked you, do you have the capability, the capacity, and the desire to do so? When you come up with the money, because that's what it's going to need to be, you'll get started. So you decide when you want to come up with the money. When do you want to get started?
Okay, I get that.
You're trying to beg them. You're giving them an out. All I did was drive you. Listen, if we were having a serious conversation about this, and we could be, but if I was looking at you, do you know that your system works, Stanley?
Yes, I do.
So do you think I believe my system works?
Yes, of course.
And I don't need to wait on you. My system works right now. It's the question is how long are you going to wait on you? And if you're not ready, guess what I'm going to do? Some will, some won't. So what? Someone's next. Y'all are putting too much effort. Y'all are putting too much belief and faith in one person. The person you're sitting in front of. You got to define. You got to decide. You got to kind of offend them, right? Because you just even said, "Well, I'm not sure," and this, that, and the other. Listen, I'm not here to offend you. I'm here to make sure that you get done what you want in this lifetime. But you're not going to stop me from doing what I want to do in this lifetime either. Some of you are letting people stop you from living your dreams because you're waiting on them. What are you waiting on them for if they're not even willing to get started on themselves?
No, that definitely helped. That was fire. I appreciate that a lot.
Just a thought. You know, one of the things that happens in our business, and this is kind of a script, if you will. I don't have script. You know, one of the biggest challenges people have in our business is making the decision to convert their money into success. Most people feel they don't have enough money to get started. My question is isn't the money, do you have enough desire to get started? Because if you have enough desire, the money will show up. You just got to make the decision. Once you make the decision, providence moves too. Performance moves too. Do you believe you're entitled to the goal that you're going for? I don't even need to know what your goal is. Are you entitled to the goal that you have? Yes. Do you have the capability to do it? Do you have the capacity to do it? Yes. Then what's keeping you from doing it? The decision to do it. When you make the decision, I'll be here and ready to help. Let me know. Have a nice day.
That helped a lot. Thank you.
Cool.
Appreciate it.
You bet, Stanley. I appreciate you. All right. Anyone else before we wrap up this call this morning? Anyone else? Would you learn? Would you like? Natalie, go ahead, Natalie.
Hey, Sean.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. I don't really have a question or anything like that. I just try to soak in as much, knowledge and advice from you as much as I can. I take notes every time I hop on. I haven't necessarily done any type of presentations yet. I've been really, ever since I hopped on your calls, I realized how important it was to, focus on being a better person and being clear with my intentions before I go ahead and, try to present this business that I am, passionate about. So I don't really have a question, but I just want to say that I really appreciate you, and I really appreciate everything that I've been learning from you. And, Stanley is actually one of my, I don't like to say team members, but he's like a part of my family. And I feel as though ever since we've, discovered your cause, thank you to Neno for putting us on. But ever since we started hopping on your calls as a collective, we have been, I have been seeing, a lot of growth in all of us. And I just want to say I appreciate you for that. And I appreciate Neno also. And I'm going to work on my presentations and stuff soon, but I'm still just super focused on.
Let me share this with you.
Okay.
You're building for your presentation. I totally get that. Start adding people to your list. And what I mean by adding people to your list is your circle of influence. Add people to your circle of friendship. Add people to your community, not to your name of 100. Go not to your list. So how many people do you think you could come across today that if you ask them a question, hey, have you ever owned your own business?
Well, I work in like a call center with like over 900 people. So I do come across a lot of people that I could be speaking to and asking them that question.
Well, ask them what their business criteria is. Listen, I'm thinking about starting my own business. What would be some business criteria you would look for in a business? And you just take notes. Now, this is going to be important that you take notes and you monitor this, because once you come across that, you can go back to those people and say, I think I found something. I'm not sure.
See, a lot of the people that I speak to at my job have been there for 4+ years.
Yeah.
So I have, not necessarily asked them that specific question, but, I have, asked them what their plans are, or, if they're happy being there because they've been there for so long, or, if they, have any other dreams that they want to fulfill. And a lot of them just give me the answer that they're just, comfortable there. And it's just what they do to pay the bills. And, I don't try to offend people. I feel like I might accidentally do sometimes, like you said earlier in the call, right. But I definitely just try to, I guess, present myself in the way that I never realized, or I never believed in myself to do anything more than the normal. So I try to, I guess, pass that energy shift to other people and try to give them, try to put it in their brain that they're better than just, sitting in that cubicle all day, every day for 5 days a week. And, they can do so much more. And there's some type of talent that everybody has that they can, move forward with, instead of just, adapting to your environment and just, being a slave to it. So
there's a couple of things. One, there's only one savior that I know of, and
me too.
So I'm not here to save everybody. I'm going to let him worry about that. What I'm here to do is find out who wants to raise their hand. And you said, and listen, you just so as you hear this, I love you. You said, I try a lot. You said try, not word try.
I know. I'm trying. Well, I just said it again, but I'm working toward pushing that word out of my vocabulary.
I would do that sooner rather than later, because it comes across as when you're having a conversation, you're trying to get something. Just give them it to them. Give them something. Give them something to have. Give them something to walk away. Give them offense. Give them joy. Give them whatever it is. But don't try anymore, because it's just so. That being said, and it doesn't have to be the people at your job. Let them have the job. But as you go out in business and you start to see people, entrepreneurs, you start to see people. You're looking for people who have an entrepreneurial spirit. And you ask people, give me your definition of an entrepreneur. You're going to hear some people go, idiots. Those people are nuts who start their own businesses.
Yeah.
Okay, so check. That's off the list.
Okay, cool. I'm definitely going to, you know, create. Well, you even mentioned this the other night. I think it was Friday night when there was only like 5
Yep.
of us on or something like that,
Yep.
about how we should make a list of every single person that we know, like every single person we've ever came in contact
Well,
with or
we should
a
keep
conversation with.
Listen, Mason's in 10th grade and he's building his list.
Yeah,
I wish
that's awesome.
I wish I'd have known to do that when I was 16.
Me too.
But look at where you're at. And I didn't start building my list. I stood on stage in 30 countries, and I thought I was too cool for school to build a list because I was the vice president of the company. I didn't need to get the names. I really should have got their names. So
Yeah.
I'd encourage you to figure out a way to put all of any contacts you have into a place to where you can communicate with them that's off of social media.
Yeah.
Why do you think I have you guys all sign up for this class? Right?
Mm-hmm.
So I get your email address. I get something out of this so that I can communicate. The funny thing is I'll send an email out to you guys and you unsubscribe, which is hysterical because you want the message, but you don't want the message. So yeah. I just giggle all the time when I get like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 unsubscribed, and I'm like, where did they do? Oh, they just signed up like yesterday. Cracks me up. Anyway.
Yeah. But I actually do have a question following our conversation. But so I recently moved to Florida within the past year. Like in March, it'll be a year since I've been here. I'm originally from New Jersey, and I've noticed that it's been really hard for me to like meet new people and build new friendships and new relationships and things like that. So like I haven't really met anyone out here besides the people that I see at work every day. Okay. So I guess
go to meetup.com.
Meetup.com. Okay.
And it's not to hook up. It's not hookup.com. It's meetup.com. And it's business and it's folks in business, right? So go to the Chamber of Commerce, go to just look for business settings, there's business meetings, and just go to those different places. There's BNI. Okay. BNI costs some money, but meetups don't. I've met some amazing relationships through some meetups.
Okay, awesome. Thank you so much.
You bet. And there we go, Sean Murphy with his personal advice. Awesome. Thanks, Natalie. All right, y'all. Oh, where's Rhonda? Is she still on here? She might have had to jump off.
Good morning.
Hey, there she is. Good morning, RB Parker.
I'm here. I really enjoyed this. There's some things that hit me. I was going to ask you a question, but if you had to get off, I was just going to call you.
No, I'm good. Go ask.
I'll ask now. Well, it's just some thoughts. You made some really interesting thoughts today that, golly, I've got my notes. And one thing that just blew me away was when Dana put in the comments, are you offending people? Are you offending their complacent desire? And then you went beyond that and you said, are people scared of offending all the people they are addicted to? And so they are offended by what you say to them. And I thought, uh-oh, we're onto something. And there's been an underlying current through this whole conversation that I've kind of been on and writing. And then you said, are you pointing out the before or painting their after? Because the reason these things are resonating with me is the next thing you asked is, do I let people value me or what I speak about? And all that comes together in my brain, and it gives me a really good viewpoint as to why we get scared when we say we're network marketers and we're about to go talk to people or about to go present. Because there's this underlying current of, we don't hear it, but you said it perfectly, of, I'm about to go offend them. Am I capable of offending them? Am I really the one offending them? Or is the truth of their situation offending them? and I'm just the messenger speaking the truth that they already know is there. And while I'm speaking it, am I going to let them make me feel invaluable or less valued? And that's in any situation, whether it's a network marketing presentation or whether it's a friendship, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a parent-child relation, it's in anything. And I've just had these little brain explosions over here, like, oh my gosh.
Baptism.
And I cross-reference that with, the month of January, I was on a fast of not being able to speak anything other than what God says I am and who God says I am and what he calls me to do. And when I cross-reference all these thoughts with that fast, it points me back to, do I value my now enough? And do I value my joy enough to not let anybody rob that from me when I speak truth to them and they get offended by it? And am I capable of speaking the truth in a way that it's okay for them to be offended, and it's okay for them to be offended in front of me? And I can handle that because I'm, and I don't know if this is a word, unoffendable. Does that make sense? It is now, and I wait anticipatorily for your answer. There's another word that's not in the dictionary. So I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that I just thought about?
Well, here's what I believe, I feel is very important, is that really loves the way that you explained it, because now you explained something. Janice was trying to figure out how to verbalize it, and you did that for her. So I don't really get paid to think. I think that's why I let you have a conversation. Out of the woman's brain comes an amazing dialogue. See, here's what it comes down to. When you know what you know that you know that you know, it really doesn't matter what other people know. And if you know that you know that you know that you know that you're stepping in love and stepping in grace and stepping in joy, sometimes you're going to step in it. And it ain't yours, you're stepping in. It's theirs, and they get mad. You're taking away the poo off on your shoe that was in their life. People get mad about that stuff. It's crazy. So
yeah, I guess it's.
Go ahead.
Sorry. I guess it's that point where, do I buy into their value of me faster than I buy into my value of me or God's value of me?
Well, now,
because
I'm going to speak to just the mindset, right? Men are from Mars and men are from Venus, women are from Mars, however that book goes. The buying into others happens wickedly faster in a woman's brain, because guys, we're supposed to be the head of our tribe. We have our community, and we're in constant defense mode. Women by design need to have the community, so it's so more important what other people think of you. Right? I mean, just when we were at lunch yesterday, all of the comments on the clothes and the dresses and everything else, and the jockeying of dialogue, it was comical to stand on the outside and watch this. So when we go out to have a business presentation, there's 1,001 thoughts going through our heads, that the addiction to approval, what everybody else has said about us and our capability and capacity. But once you have your first one, or once you do it, then all of a sudden when you buy into the higher power, right, which is where I'm stepping more into now, which is why I'm sure I'm absolutely offending people on a regular basis. It's challenging, because for us to understand the thought, when we take the hyper capacity of our body and our brain that operate at such an electrical frequency and a vibrational frequency we're not used to, when we try to go back, how did that just happen? And when we ask, how did that just happen? The only thing we can compare it to is the ultimate. So therefore, we get back into that
Yeah.
conversation quickly.
I guess it all turns back around to me just working on me as much as I can. And am I speaking from my brain or am I speaking from my heart? Because if I'm speaking from my brain, I'm going to hear all those conversations and I'm going to be worried about offending or saying the right thing or everything I just spoke to. Whereas if I keep conditioning my heart with love and kindness and joy and acceptance, not only to myself, if I do it to myself first, then I can extend it to others sincerely. Whereas if I try to do it from my head and my mouth, and I've never given it to myself first, it comes off sounding like a network marketer. So it all points back to why these calls are so important. It's not to get scripts and it's not to get roadmaps on how to get people, or it's how to speak to yourself first. And it's how to love yourself first. And it's how to keep you from losing the value that's in you and who you honestly are, who you're designed to be. And when you grasp that, then all those other things, like the conversations you just talked about that women will go too quickly or men will shy away from, fade away, because then there's no value placed on anything other than I love me and I'm okay with loving me and I'm okay with loving me abundantly. And because I love me abundantly, I have so much love to give to you that I will love you no matter what you choose or where you are. And then it becomes sincerely heartfelt. Does that make sense how that just rolled off my tongue?
Makes sense to me. Let's see what the community says. That was beautiful.
Okay. So that was these are the conversations, y'all, I have with Sean after the call sometimes. Because I don't know if they're going to sound right, but I hear his teaching today, and he's the best Sean G. Murphy on the planet by all means, and he is the best at what he does. But a teacher's really good when they can make you think for yourself in a total different way by what they're teaching. And that's what you did for me, and that's what everybody on the call did for me, which was a good mind shift and a good heart check. And I guess if I would say anything, and I'll try to stop quickly, is every one of y'all are so valuable and you have so much locked up inside of you, and you're so scared of offending others and losing their friendship or them not hearing you or them not agreeing with you, that if you lay all that aside and you're not worried about being their friend as much as you are to connect to their heart, then all the worry and all the fear goes away. And you're just being able to speak from your value. And you're amazing. You have amazing value and content inside you. And I would encourage you, sit with those kind of thoughts today. It just keeps coming back to me, value, and how much value is inside myself. And Lord knows if this little East Texas mama has that kind of value, every one of y'all on this phone call is so valuable, it's unreal. So thanks for letting me share. I hope that made sense. I love you too, Shammy. I love y'all. Thanks, Sean.
So, Elijah, you got a question or a comment?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, Rhonda gave me a couple ideas to think from. And I was actually, Rhonda, do you listen to Lisa Nichols?
No, let me write that down.
Yeah,
Lisa
that's
Nichols.
Lisa Nichols. That's somebody I think she'll definitely resonate with you. But she talks about
Okay.
how to attract abundance now is through your intuition. And so, some things I picked up from her and also from TD Jakes is, sometimes we have to turn off our sight and turn on our insight to really help guide us. And, you kind of spoke on, and you articulated it beautifully, but I think a lot of times we get in our own way because we're overthinking or we're just thinking, and the person we are today doesn't have the capacity to think the right thoughts at all times. But when we can turn off our sight and turn on our insight fully and just realize who we are to the core, and TD Jake speaks on like you're at your best when you're authentic to the core. And so I think just that's kind of what I got out from what you said. It's just like be authentic to your core and don't overthink things, because everything that you possess, everything you need, it's inside you, and it's that intuition, and it comes from that authenticity and just loving yourself unconditionally. But that's all I got. I love you, family. I appreciate these calls, Sean. I appreciate you, Ron. I appreciate everybody.
Awesome, Elijah. Thanks, brother.
I love you, Elijah. I love you, dear. I love some TD Jakes too. Oh my gosh. Any single women out there, there's a good book by him called Your Lover and Your Lord. I think that's what it is. And that's a really good book for single women. But TD Jakes is awesome. And I'm going to look up Lisa Nichols. Thank you for that.
I think Lisa Nichols, if it's the same one, she was in The Secret, and she's got this big,
same one.
Yeah, big curly hair. I love her. She's amazing. Because when she talks about in The Secret how when she was growing up, there were no heroes on TV that looked like her. So she just, that whole I'm not good enough kind of concept. She's amazing. She's cool. All right, y'all. Hey, listen, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for spending your morning with me. In the words of Jim Rohn, listen, a little bit of you goes with me when I leave here today, and I hope a little bit of me goes with you today. I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Blessings. Y'all say bye to each other.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, guys. Love
y'all.
you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Everyone have a blessed day.
Bye-bye,
Positive
everybody.
thinking all day.
Bye. Thanks again, Sean.
You bet. See you, everybody.
All positivity today, Misfit family.
Nothing but.
Bye, y'all. Nino, let's get it.